adding trim to a project, you end up with some brad nail holes. Let's fill them with wood filler and some baby wipes. Put a little dab on your finger. You definitely don't need a lot, and you're just going to rub your finger against that hole to fill it. Here's another angle of that. And one more angle. Pretty quickly, you'll end up with something that looks like this. You don't have to wait very long for it to dry, but then you're going to take your baby wipe and you're going to wipe off all the excess like this. That will leave you with your trim looking like this. Next up for this bookcase project is caulk and touch-up paint.
Okay, so I'm wiped. I just stained and polyurethaned my sewing table, and I am wiped. Thank goodness for scrubby brushes. Domi, the problem kitty, is hanging out too. It's the jingle jangle. And oh boy, yay for scrubby brushes. It's also like I'm really white, and the stain I was using is really brown. And so I'm not actually going to show you my hands that are still not entirely clean, because it looks a little disconcerting. So there's that. Yeah, and I'll finish getting clean. I'm exhausted, and you can tell I've been working a lot. My hair's all frazzled, so yeah, this was not an enjoyable part of this process. Important, but not a good time. Lesson learned.
Alright, story time. I was in Lowe's, and I was working on a project not related to my sewing table project. But I was in Lowe's. Point being, I'm in Lowe's. And I'm on the hunt for an object I don't know its name. Which is a problem, because in order to navigate Lowe's, you need the name of an object. Or you need to be willing to make a fool of yourself. Like me. So, here's what I did. I approached some of the people who worked there. And I was like, hi, do you have a moment to help me? And they were like, of course. They were in the middle of moving something. Now, these two women were fantastic. And they didn't know what I was looking for either. And they were like, oh, this is definitely a thing. Because here's how I described it. It's like a light switch plate made of metal, and it has holes in it, and you use it to join things. And they just looked at me. And now my spouse is over on, with me on this adventure, and head shaking like, I don't want to be associated with this idiot. Which is fair. I don't really want to be associated with me either, but that's okay, because we were all learning that day. So, these two employees and me were all just like, what could it be called? It's not a light switch cover. It looks like a light switch cover. It's a flat piece of metal with holes in it for joining things. Eventually, they hollered at another employee, and he was apparently only in Lowe's on his off day, so I feel kind of bad that I roped him into this. And we described it to him, and he's like, a light switch cover? And I was like, no, it's not for a light switch. It's for joining two pieces of wood together. There are holes in this metal plate. And he just looked at all of us and looked at me and was like, a join plate? You want a join plate? They're on the end cap down that way. I was like, a join plate? And so my spouse and I, we walked down to the join plate end cap. And sure enough, the piece of metal with holes in it for joining things, it's a join plate. So we all learned things that day. Shout out to the Lowe's employees who helped me. I really appreciate it.